This is my favorite scene from episode 1 because it was the very first time that I was playing Cooper Howard. But us cowpokes, we take it as it comes, right? In my own mind, in my own imagination, I was seeing it happen in real time. And I was there with my daughter. And it was terrifying. It really affected me emotionally.
These projects are difficult to bring to life. It's a bit of a high wire act across the board, especially episodically. You got to do 8 hours of this. You have to be smart and you have to trust.
The pilot episode starts really big and an insane number of things happen in it. In our first season, we have 8 hours to play with. There's acres and acres of intellectual property. I mean, 25 years of games. So it really was like, how do we cover as much of this big, crazy world as we can?
I'm so proud of what we were able to create. Incredibly talented crew, incredibly talented cast, everyone pulling together and trying to breathe life into the idea of what Los Angeles would look like 200 years after the end of the world. This show presented a number of different amazing opportunities. All of the creature work, the power armor, all the vehicles, the challenges of building the props, the challenges of finding the locations, finding the right cast, figuring out which of these things should be done in visual effects, which of these things should be done practically. There's really nothing you can take for granted. Nothing can just be shot. All of our incredibly talented HODs and crew could just dive right into pulling all of that together, while Graham and Geneva set about with the massive task of figuring out how to create an original story with an original cast of characters that both connects to the mythos of the games in the past, before the bombs dropped, and the existing mythos of the games in latter-day Los Angeles.
We always knew that we wanted to do a Vault Dweller as the main character. I think we were both drawn to shows that have sort of main characters who are ironic to the world of the show, and we felt like a Vault Dweller who was naive but also very civilized and sort of morally righteous would inherently create a lot of conflict with her going to the surface. But we were really drawn to the world of the Vault as well because, you know, it's this planned universe that Vault-Tec has created that extends for centuries into the future. You know, it seems very benign and sort of idyllic, but we were really interested in peeling back the layers of, you know, if a corporation controlled the world and planned every aspect of the world that we lived in, what would the real purpose of everything be?
It's very clear to us early on, initial scripts, that the writers here and Jonah and everybody, they really, really get it. And their ability to go in and out of those different tones, which I think is very hard, they've really, really captured.
There's mountains and mountains of lore and canon, but the aesthetic is super top of mind. Most exciting thing for us was watching Todd Howard wander onto the set for the first day and be like, they got the door texture right.
There's a multi-story vault that's been built. I lost my way to this room. Just being able to walk through it, and it's everything, you know, it's all, there's reports here. There's a letter from Vault-Tec right here, and I can flip through and they have charts of like, how are we raising the animals? It's insanity.
Todd had been approached over and over and over again over the years, for more than a decade, by people wanting to turn Fallout into a movie or a television series, and had steadily rebuffed all of those offers.
We could see Fallout being an amazing TV show, but it's all about finding the right partners. When we talked to Jonah, he and I hit it off. Oh, this is it.
Working with the longtime collaborators and some new ones, this extraordinary team, it allows you to really go for it because you know you have this incredible group of artists. We sort of take the approach that I refer to as maximalism, where we deploy pretty much every production technique possible. With the massive support of Amazon, MGM Studios, we were able to build beautiful sets by our production designer, Howard Cummings.
We are based out of New York, but we were thinking it could be anywhere. Right now, I'm sitting in Elizabeth Bay, which is in Namibia. This has been a dream that Jonah Nolan has had for years. And so finally, this project came along.
This abandoned diamond mine that had been built in the early 20th century in the Skeleton Coast of Namibia, a very inhospitable place.
When they abandoned the mine, I think it was in the 30s, they ended up blowing it all up. So this whole area was perfect for trying to recreate a post-apocalyptic city. In order to express what the game is about, we had to really add the details without it overtaking what was here. So it was trying to find the right balance of what part of the game do I bring to Elizabeth Bay.
Hold it there, hold it there.
To get back to shooting film is a great pleasure and great joy. It's very kind to the human face in the way that digital photography does not yet seem to be capable of doing.
Doing hair, makeup, wardrobe in a different format, like 35 millimeter. Yeah, there's certain different aspects you have to be aware of. There's color temperature, there's film speed, there's the frame rate. Things are different, and if you're not familiar with that, it could be something that chases you, and you won't know that until you see the dailies. And the dailies might take a day or two to come back, whereas on digital, it's like instant, oh, let's see what it looks like. Things are different, and if you don't know how to navigate that, it can be a challenge.
No one had ever shot there before. And because they resumed mining operations, no one will probably ever shoot there again because it's just too much of a hassle to get a crew in and out.
Loaded, Namibian coast, just with everything blowing around, it's really hectic. The sand is getting into everything.
Give yourself a moment. Wind and sand. The first 3 days we got there, we had 40-mile-an-hour winds. It's a true challenge for sound. Wind is our enemy. For me, dialogue is really what I focus on, and capturing in the cleanest, most appropriate way for that environment.
It came with a lot of challenges to make the vault suits and also to make them textural and interesting. We ran out of fabric very early on, and we had to make 1 million more of them. So we had the fabric made, which was no easy feat. You know, just when you think it's like, oh, okay, we figured it out, like then there's challenges on top of that. There are 3 different kinds of fabrics, and one is for the principals because it has such great give in both directions, and it was more expensive and harder to get. It's from Italy, and we had to dye it and make sure the color was right with Bethesda blue. You know, every sort of step of the way came with its little caveats. Everything above ground had to look like it had been exposed and also salvaged. It wasn't the end of the world. They had learned how to roll with it and how to dress themselves and how to have a style about them. It's a huge undertaking. The amount of costumes that we had to make and amount of people that we had to dress was huge, huge, bigger than anything I've ever done.
One thing that Jonah told me early on was we're going to use the songs to focus on the irony of the situation, especially early on in the vault. You've got the world they're living in, the music that kind of speaks to that. They think they're in this utopia. And then the score, that's kind of going to be driving the drama. And that was kind of the handoff between the score and the songs.
Our job is to subconsciously make you feel something with music. There's something that goes with the visual, with the dialogue, with the acting on screen that just enhances that moment. And I think that's something that is very powerful that you can achieve with music.
I'm bringing him home.
A lot of editing is juxtaposition. A good example would be when Lucy leaves the vault for the first time and how the soundscape changes from when you're indoors to outdoors. Everything is about how the character is experiencing it and what's it like to go through that bright light into a world that you've never seen before.
She's She's never experienced the outside world. She doesn't know what wind feels like, or weather, or the sun. There's the sort of physiological responses that your body has to being on the surface for the first time. And then there's the emotional challenge of having your entire worldview change.
She doesn't know what anything looks or sounds like. She's never been up there. And she starts noticing some sounds as she's walking down through the sand, and she comes around the corner. It's the first time she's ever seen the ocean. You're always trying to get people to lean in more on a show, you know, just the ambiances that made the locations feel different.
Just the atmosphere that caused isn't something you can fake. It was tangible.
We really worked in collaboration with our stunningly brilliant production designer, Howard Cummings, and knew in early plans that while he achieved these magnificent practical sets, we would have some set extensions and a little bit of help to just take things further in visual effects.
One of the things about working with Jonah and Graham and Geneva is this sense that there has to be something real in the frame. When we shot the environment for Shady Sands, we went to a huge lake and they were able to see the scope, and we didn't just shoot it in a parking lot. We dressed the entire set and then said, okay, well, everything out there is gonna be Shady Sands. And so the cameras were able to react correctly, and you were able to figure out how far back you should be able to get the scope you needed.
We always want to maintain the best elements that we captured on the day. Like, we don't want to lose those. It's always very exciting in the world of visual effects to know that you're creating your own unique world for others to really immerse themselves in.
We built one of the first volume facilities on the East Coast and set about trying to figure out exactly what to use it for. We didn't want to use the volume for everything. We just wanted to use it for the kinds of sets that would be too big or too improbable to build. We did a ton of aerial work, but then we brought that onto the volume stage with us. We had gone in the helicopter to Western Utah, gathered all of the plates, and then brought them to life on the volume stage with our fuselage kind of bouncing around. Like, there's a sense of reality for the actors and for me and for everyone else. Handheld cameras inside a fully realized and beautiful interior from one of our vertibirds.
To be on a real rig that is controlled by someone else on set with a joystick that's just shaking you and taking you on a ride on the volume set, the real drone footage whipping past your eye line. It's just an amazing experience for an actor.
The fights, the fight choreography, the stunt work, all just a sort of a dream come true for me as a director. Because you're playing with all of the different toys and trying to put them together to try to give things a sense of weight. And using all of the things we learned over the years to try to make those things feel as immersive and tactile as they do in the games. Most of what you see with the power armor is real, and most of it is our incredibly talented stunts team.
For us, it started with the team at Legacy. We had the best fabricators and designers in the business on this. They made this suit that is supposed to be a giant walking tank that in the video game is 1,000 pounds, and they made it something that somebody could wear and operate and perform in.
We gave him months and months and months of rehearsal to make sure that he was completely fluent. By the time we were done shooting, he could do almost anything in that suit, which is incredible given how much it weighed and the difficulty of it.
Giving hugs is hard work.
Getting the shots that we got and feeling the way I did about the work, I just felt really proud. I felt like I'd done what I'd set out to. I knew I could go the distance.
Please, please. There's an old Mexican eulogy. Feo, fuerte y formal. Means he was ugly, strong, and had dignity. Well, Joey, I'll give you 2 out of 3 on that front.
I think it was 2019, and before Kilter had even finished securing the rights that we were talking about, like, oh, we would totally watch a Fallout show if Walton Goggins was in it.
My name is Walton Goggins, and I'm auditioning for the role of Ghoul.
Oh, amazing.
Wait a minute. We just wrapped. I got it? You mean I got it? Oh, my God.
Walton Goggins is one of those actors who you just put on the bucket list of people who's so versatile and talented, both dramatically and comedically. I don't really know how he does it.
I started this experience as the Ghoul. We started talking about it 6 months before the cameras even began rolling.
We had the enormous challenge of figuring out how to take this incredibly versatile actor with this amazing face that can convey humor and sadness, all these different things, and then put 10 pounds of makeup on it and still have that work.
Ghoul could easily fall into something that's zombie, kind of burn victim. There's all these different aesthetics that I think we wanted to try and avoid as much as possible so that it was its own look.
And we had a very dear friend of mine, Jake Garber. He's one of the best special effects makeup artists in the world, and he stepped in to apply it. First time we did it, it took 5 hours to put the pieces on. And once we were into production, he had it down to about 1 hour and 45 minutes.
When we were doing the makeup in the trailer, he would bring in movies.
I watched copious amounts of Westerns over the course of this. He had it down so quick that sometimes I would ask him to take a little bit longer because the movie I was watching was 2.5 hours long.
I could tell once we started getting towards the end of the application, he started to kind of settle into the role.
You tell a story with your face. Tell a story with your voice. And both of those things were dramatically changed with this prosthetic and with the mouthpieces that I wear. I was so insecure about it when we first started, and like after every take, I would just look at Jonah and he would say, yeah, we got all of it, man. I said, all of it? Everything.
Walton came to set for the first day, and we're all nervous because, you know, is the makeup gonna work? Is it gonna be okay? It was the middle of the summer, and it was very, very hot. And I walk over to give him a hug and welcome him to the set, and he's crying. And I thought, well, it was an emotional day. I get it, you know, first day, big new role. And then I looked at him, I'm like, oh, he's not crying, he's actually sweating. And it's coming out of his eyes because the makeup is so intense. He was just roasting in there. So we had some challenges with it, but he was incredibly game and so up for it.
I just didn't anticipate all that I would feel being the Ghoul. What a magical, strange experience it's been.